Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you all had a good week. My name is Jordan Davidson, and this is another episode of Behind the Bench. This November, I am growing a mustache in support of men's mental health. Just like a mustache, mental illness starts out invisible, but soon grows into something you cannot ignore. If you'd like to donate to my Movember page, the link is in the description, and men, please take care of yourselves. The Mississauga Steelheads played twice this week. First a home game against the Windsor Spitfires on Saturday, and then immediately following that game, they traveled to Sudbury for their first road game against the Sudbury Wolves on Sunday. I was at both games. I'm going to recap them for you. Let's get started. As I mentioned last week, both Lucas Carmiris and Ryerson Leanders are both away in Delta, BC at the World Under-17 Hockey Challenge. So the Steelheads have called up a few players to replace them on the roster temporarily. Chaz Nixon is our second goalie for the time being, and the Steelheads have also added McGregor Richmond and William Eggleton to the active roster as well. Saturday did happen to be a Pucks and Paws, the first of two Pucks and Paws games that the Steelheads are having this season, so there were a bunch of dogs in the crowd as well. Here is the pregame that I got.
Now don't be alarmed if I come home smelling like dogs. Yeah, I'm going to be seeing dogs today. I'm not going to bring any home, though, don't worry. I might not bring any home. We'll see. See you, Wadey.
The Spitfires have arrived. Hope they're ready to face a tough Steelheads team and a bunch of barking dogs. Let's see what we can do, guys. Oh, I think they're lost. Can't find the concourse. McGregor Richmond getting a rookie lap. Getting a couple rookie laps, wow. And now here's the rest of the team. Chaz Nixon is also here. He's the backup for a couple weeks while Leanders is away. First time going to a Pucks and Paws game, not having a dog, but yeah, some good booths here. Oh, here we go. Oh, hi. Hi, Mrs. Callahan and dogs. I promise that just because we're in the dog section, these are not dog treats. McGregor Richmond did make his OHL debut for the Steelheads against the Spitfires on Saturday. Proud moment for James Richmond, his father, of course. Alessio Begliari was in net for the Steelheads. Matthias Onuska was in net for the Spitfires. The puck dropped, and we got underway. A dominant first period in shots for the Steelheads. They led in shots 17-10, but it was the Windsor Spitfires getting on the board first. Alex Christopoulos with the goal, give the assist to Oliver Peer, and it would be 1-0 Windsor after one period. Middle of the first period, by the way, I was able to catch up with Roman Bazarin, our old buddy, who was in town for the weekend. He was on the ice at practice with the Steelheads last night. Got a little bit of goalie work in. He's working on rehabbing the injury he suffered at the end of last year and trying to continue that hockey journey. So good luck to Roman. It was good to see you, and all the best of luck, man. An early delay of game call on Ethan Medema would give the Steelheads their first power play of the night in the second period, and it was just a few seconds later that James Hardy would shovel one in, give the assist to Luca Del Bubbaluz and Chaz Sharp, and that would tie the score at 1. A little bit of action not long after that. Isaac Enright and Liam Greentree would get into a spirited fight. It was pretty evenly matched. There was no instigator. They both just went for 5. They would sit. Mason Zabeski would take a hooking call not long after that as well, but nothing would come of that, and it would still be 1-1. Zabeski would make up for it, though. A nice little shovel to Bryce Cook, who was able to find a very tiny hole on the side of Onuska, and Bryce Cook would have his second as a Steelhead. Zabeski, as I mentioned, with the assist, and the Steelheads would take the lead at 2-1. It'd be our good buddy Owen Beck making it 3-1 late in the second period at the 17:58 mark. He just kind of found the puck off a rebound, sniped it, and it went in. 3-1, no assists on that one, and that is how it would stand after 2. Bronson Wright of the Spitfires would take a hooking call at the 18:45 mark of the second period, which of course would extend to the 45-second mark of the third period. He was just getting out and returning to the play when Casper Larson was able to snipe one past Onuska for his first goal of the season, give the assist on that one to Luca Del Bubbaluz and James Hardy, and the Steelheads had a very comfortable now 4-1 lead. Just a few seconds later at the 1:33 mark, another absolute bullet from Owen Beck, his ninth of the season, second of the game, would find the back of the net to give the assist on this one to Kai Schwint and Zachary Lavoie, and all of a sudden the Steelheads would be up 5-1. So Owen Beck would be on Hattie Watch, but the Hattie Watch would be short-lived, unfortunately. Christopher O'Flaherty would score an unassisted goal for the Spitfires to make it 5-2. And shortly after that, at the 3:48 mark, Daniil Sobolev would check Kai Schwinn from behind. He would get called for that, and it was Owen Beck who would step in to defend his teammate. They would go at it for a bit, but Beck was called for the instigator. He got the minor and the 10-minute misconduct as well, which at that point of the game would have essentially taken him out of the game. So Beck's minor for the instigator and Sobolev's penalty for checking from behind would cancel each other out, so there was no power play. They both get the 5, but Beck got the misconduct as well, so he was out of the game. The fight may have sparked the Spitfires a little bit, as Michael Renwick was able to make it 5-3 at the 4:41 mark. Give the assist on that one to Ryan Abraham, and all of a sudden, it was a game again. Could a comeback be in the works? It would not be. Kai Schwinn would take a hooking call at the 17:56 mark, which would give the Spitfires a late power play. But with the goalie pulled, it would be Charlie Callahan shoving home the empty netter and sealing this one. It would be a 6-3 final for the Steelheads, assist on the empty netter to James Hardy and Luca Del Babaluz, and the Steelheads would take this game by a score of 6-3. So a hard-fought 2 points against the top team in the West in front of 2,000 fans and dogs alike. Here are the 3 stars. I didn't get a ton post-game because the Steelheads had to leave for Sudbury immediately. They played there the very next afternoon, so I did get the bus leaving, all that fun stuff. But again, here are the 3 stars and the post-game. All the human and canine fans are happy. Let's see how the guys are outside. Woo!
Came out with the dub.
Oh yeah.
Yo, straight! I don't think we're still.
Waiting for Daddy?
Waiting for Xander.
Yeah, Xander. Maddie's here somewhere.
Yeah. Find the scent.
This is Smudge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Xander's biggest fan right there.
Yeah.
Okay? That's just
Yeah. Got the jersey and everything.
Got the jersey, right? So good luck on the weekend. I thought he might get another one tonight.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Oh well. Game boys. Well, something you don't usually see after a home game. They are Sudbury bound right now. Yeah. Guess they can't leave without those 2. Back of the bench should be a little empty. So the Steelheads were on their way to Sudbury. After some hemming and hawing in the morning, I made it there myself. Made the 4-hour trip and made it to the Sudbury Community Arena. Here is my pregame from there. Well, Sunday now. We watched the Steelheads start their journey to Sudbury last night, and this morning I followed them. Here we are, Sudbury Community Arena, home of the Sudbury Wolves. Bit of an early morning, left at 8 a.m. Thankfully, the clocks changed last night / this morning, so it was like I left at 9 a.m. So
Bit of a godsend. Got a little more sleep than you would expect. And we're here at 12:30 with a little bit of a pit stop in between, you know, long drive and all. So, but yeah, I'm here. Stompin' Tom's here. Steelheads are here. Let's get another win. All the times I've been to Sudbury, this is probably the first time I've seen it without snow. Like it's 13 degrees Celsius, as it said on the board over there a minute ago. Usually come here expecting the North Pole, but it's actually very nice and mild today. Quick, before he sees I'm filming him, he'll get nervous. Alessio Bagliari would start for the Steelheads for the second straight game. Our old buddy Joe Ranger would start for the Sudbury Wolves. Also, interestingly, William Eggleton would get his first game since the season opener in Niagara, which is back when we had a bunch of forwards missing still. William Eggleton getting his first game since then. Puck would drop in Sudbury, and we would get underway. There was some testiness early near our net. There was a scrum during which Isaac Enright would shove Landon McCallum from behind. They took Enright to the box. 5 minutes were originally put on the board, but it was shortened to a 2-minute roughing minor upon review. It was just 7 seconds after that roughing minor, though, that David Goyette would open the scoring for the Sudbury Wolves, assist to Quentin Musty and Jacob Holmes. And just 7 seconds into that penalty, it was 1-0 for the Sudbury Wolves. I kind of sensed that after that goal, the wind kind of came out of our sails a little bit. It didn't take long for the Wolves to get another one. Alex Ferron would score very shortly after at the 2:20 mark for the Sudbury Wolves to make it 2-0, give the assist on that one to Coach Adelic and Nolan Collins, and very early it would be 2-0. Unfortunately, it wouldn't take long for it to be 3-0 either. Just 3:47 into the first gives Jubril Toure his first of the game as well. Nick DeGrazia and Ethan Larmond would get the assist on that one, and things were not looking good for the Steelheads early. They were down 3-0 just less than 4 minutes into the game. Another scrum at the 13:07 mark would send 2 Steelheads and 1 Wolf to the penalty box. Matthew Magna going for the Wolves, while both Charlie Callahan and Mason Zabeski would go for the Steelheads. It was while the Steelheads were shorthanded, though, that Owen Beck was able to get a clean shot on Joe Ranger. He would score a shorthanded goal for the Steelheads' first of the game, give the assist on that one to Ethan Del Mastro, and the Steelheads would be on the board, still down 3-1. In spite of getting on the board, the Steelheads were still down a man, and it was not long after that, just at the 13:55 mark, that Alex Ferron would take advantage of the power play. He got his second of the game, assist on this one to Landon McCallum and Nolan Collins, and just like that, the wind is out of our sails again. The Steelheads are down 4-1. And it would not stop. Adding another one to make it 5-1 at the 14:22 mark would be Alex Asadorian, give the assist to Coach Adelic and Kieran Walton, and that would be it in the game for Alessio Bagliari. Chaz Nixon would relieve him, making his OHL debut at that point. If there was any positive for the Steelheads in this game, they did start to look a lot better once Chaz Nixon was into the game. They started out very slow on shots, but as the game went on, the shots started to look a lot more Steelhead-like. The Wolves would take a late too-many-men penalty, and Luca Delba Blues would score a last-minute goal at the 19:32 mark, give the assist to Casper Larson and Zachary Lavoie. So it would be 5-2 Wolves after 1. It didn't look great for the Steelheads going into the second, but I thought, if we can get a couple goals in the second, then maybe we can make this a game again. Unfortunately, that would not be the case. At the 5:46 mark, Jubril Toure would get his second of the game, assist to Landon McCallum and Ethan Larmond, and that would make it 6-2. The onslaught would continue at the 15:56 mark. Ethan Larmond would get his first goal of the game, assist to Mark Boudreau and Nick DeGrazia, and all of a sudden, it's 7-2. However, with David Goyette in the box serving a roughing penalty, the Steelheads would get their second last-minute goal of the game. Charlie Callahan able to beat Joe Ranger, give the assist on that one to Luca Delba Blues at James Hardy at the 19:31 mark, and the second period would end with the Wolves leading 7-3. Early in the third, it would be Ethan Larmond taking a holding call and David Goyette taking an unsportsmanlike conduct call at the same time, so the Steelheads would get a 5-on-3 opportunity, and the Steelheads took advantage of it. Luca Delba Blues with his second of the game, give the assist to James Hardy and Owen Beck. Luke would have 10 on the season as well, and the Steelheads would take advantage of one penalty, unfortunately not the second, but it would be 7-4 Wolves at that point, 6:48. Unfortunately, there was no hope for a comeback in this one, with Xander Vecchia in the box serving a tripping call. Andre Anania would score for the Wolves. Quentin Musty and Jacob Holmes with the assists, and that would make it 8-4, and 8-4 would be the final score, the Wolves taking this one. It is a little bit interesting. The Steelheads are up to 4 regulation losses now, which is not a bad number for this time of year, but 2 of those regulation losses now come against the Sudbury Wolves, a team that is not in a playoff position right now. Another one comes against Guelph, who is also not in a playoff position right now, and the 4th one was that collapse against Barrie. So it'll be interesting to see if that trend continues, but still, Steelheads are in good shape. Here are the 3 stars. Again, not a lot of post-game because they were in a hurry to get back, and I'm sure there was not much to say about that one. But here we go. 3 stars and a little bit of post-game. This may be another one where I don't know how much post-game I'll get because A, I'm not sure they're too happy about tonight, and B, it is starting to rain a little bit, so we'll see. I do want to get home as quick as I can too, so hopefully arrive around 9 or 9:30, but yeah, there's Parker right there with all the stuff, and go from there. Now, before I go, we have talked about the Steelheads' attendance and advertising before, and I thought this would be a good time to do a little update on that. At the home opener, the Steelheads had just over 2,100 people, which is not a full crowd, but it's baby steps. The 4 games after that, though, the combined attendance for those 4 games, 4,439. Yep, the Steelheads could fill the arena with the combined attendance for those 4 games and still have 1,000 seats left over. With the Pucks and Paws game being this past Saturday, though, the Steelheads did ramp up their advertising a little bit. They did a couple of commercials, and lo and behold, the attendance came back. It was another crowd of 2,100, which, again, is not a full crowd. It's not a huge crowd, but it's a crowd, which is more than they can say for the last couple of games. So you have a special game, you ramp up the advertising, and the attendance increases, you know? It's almost like advertising works. So they did a good job for Saturday's game, but then the question is, why don't they do this for every game? I mean, every game can't be a specialty game because, you know, if every game is, then it kind of waters down the idea of what a specialty game is. But at the same time, why isn't every other game worthy of the same advertising? I mean, it's good that they're saying the Pucks and Paws game is coming up. We want a good crowd for that one. The Pink game is coming up. We want a good crowd for that one. But shouldn't they want a good crowd every game? The Steelheads have 34 regular season home games this season. If you run a pet store and you have 34 pets in that store, you don't just feed the 7 or 8 that you think are the most popular. You know, when I did my game day vlogs last year, which in part was to help them advertise, you know, until they decided they didn't need it for whatever reason. But I treated every game the same. It didn't matter if it was Pucks and Paws Day or a special jersey day or nothing day. You know, I always put every video together the same way and advertised the same way. And something I still wish they did a little bit better, it didn't matter how much, you know, entertainment I put in, my main selling point was always the game. Because that's what people are paying to see, the game. Because it doesn't matter what kind of special day it is, the main selling point and the main product is still the hockey. Like, they tell you can bring your dog there, you can bring your dog to the park for free. So it's not about the dogs, it's a little bit about the dogs, but it's about bringing the dogs to the hockey. That's kind of the main complaint I had about the Ren's Pets video, you know, the video where Owen and Xander went to work at Ren's Pets for a day. And I'm not saying that video wasn't entertaining or it wasn't funny, because it was. But the thing is, when you're advertising, you're trying to bring in the people who haven't been to a Steelheads game or maybe don't even know who the Steelheads are. And you have to think like that. We, the existing Steelheads fans, think that video is funny because we know Owen and Xander. But the average person who's never heard of the Steelheads just watched that video and they don't know who those two guys are. It's just two guys working at Ren's Pets. They may not even relate it to hockey at all. They were handing stuff out at the store about the game, which is good, and they talked about the game at the end of the video, which is good, but you know, maybe people clicked off before the end. You gotta get the selling point in as soon as you can. You know, the humor is good, it draws people into watching the ad, but sooner or later, you have to circle around to showing your target audience that you have a good product. And I mean, the Steelheads do have a good product. They possibly have the best on-ice product they've ever had. So it shouldn't be too hard, right? In any case, though, they did get a good crowd on Saturday. Let's hope that continues, because it doesn't matter what day it is. This team is good enough that they deserve a good crowd every single time they go out there. And let's hope they start to see it. In any case, if the Steelheads started getting crowds, you know, not just on one day, not just on specialty days, but every day, then, you know, maybe they could start proving me wrong about how much they actually need my help. Think about that. In any case, the Steelheads continue their schedule this weekend with another 3-3. Friday, November 11th, they travel to Kitchener to take on the Rangers. Saturday, November 12th, it is their first visit of the season to Hamilton to take on the defending OHL champion Hamilton Bulldogs. And Sunday, the Steelheads are back home to take on the Kingston Frontenacs. So Friday at Kitchener, Saturday at Hamilton, and Sunday at home to Kingston. I'll be at all three games. Hope to see some of you guys there. Once again, I end by asking the OHL, please allow the fair use of your professional and amateur footage. Help the small media so they can help you. Until next time, you can find me behind the bench and only the bench. This is Jordan signing off. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.